everyone, so I am gonna go out today on an exploration. I know a place not too far from my house, and the guy's been collecting old cars since the 50s. Now I heard he's starting to sell stuff off and want to get rid of things, so I'm gonna go see what he's got for vintage cars and scout it out. Maybe there's something out there that you're interested in too. If so, you can message me and I can get you the guy's information. Everything that's out there is for sale, and he's looking to move stuff out. So he says what he doesn't sell this year or this summer or winter, he's probably gonna do an auction next year. So it's a good chance to get in and get some cool stuff before it hits an auction. So we're gonna head out there this morning and check things out. So let's go. When did you open up the yard here anyway?
In the morning?
No, I mean, like, when did you first open up this as a scrapyard?
I bought this place in 1957.
So you've been here ever since 57?
Yeah, 60 years now.
It's a shame. It looks like you got rid of most of the old tins, advertising signs and plates and stuff like that.
Well, I didn't have many. I only had one.
You had a Red Indian though, right?
Yeah, the Red Indian.
Yeah, well, that's the right one to have.
Yeah, and I had two guys kind of didn't know.
Okay, so I just talked to Reg, and he's gonna let me have a look around here. Now, all these cars are basically for sale. He's selling the property, so all this stuff has to go. So I'm gonna show you some of the cool stuff that's around the yard, and if you're interested in anything, I can get you the contact info. So this is gonna be a bit of a journey. There's stuff pretty much everywhere. Old Plymouth, two-door. This guy looks like he liked to go fast at one time. Not sure what's under there. It's a satellite. This looks like an old Chrysler, I want to say. I should know my cars better than this by now. But possibly a Chrysler 300 two-door hardtop. Maybe somebody who's watching can... Oh yeah, it's a Chrysler. I would say that's a 300 two-door hardtop. But it's just sitting here. Cars like this definitely need to be saved. Another one here, and I can tell because he's got this canopy on it, this is a convertible, and he didn't want the interior to get all wrecked. Maybe an old Merc or Ford. And there's old school buses out here. A nice old Plymouth wagon. She looks to be pretty solid too. Let's kind of go down the road here. Now there's a car that's an up-and-coming collectible. The old Firebirds and Camaros are pretty hot actually. This one looks like he's had it stored up on blocks. So it's got a little bit of rust around the wheel arch, but all in all it's not bad. And this is a T-top car too. Let's have a look at the interior in this. Well, it needs some TLC. But it's not the worst I've seen sitting in a scrapyard. And this is a Chevy Del Rey. Now I bet there's something cool under here. I'm just gonna peek under the cover here and see what's under here. Oh, it's another Firebird. So this would make like an ideal Smokey and the Bandit car. You know, get your eagle painted on the hood there. There's stuff just everywhere. And a few years ago, this place was completely packed like you wouldn't believe, and he has sold a few things off, so it's starting to move along. Old Mercury's not in half bad shape. Actually, it's not in too bad a shape at all, really. It's good cleaning, and this is the type that has the rear window that rolls down. That back window on these cars goes up and down. Can't do that on new vehicles. You get the exhaust rolling back in. And it's a New Yorker. This actually would have been a very expensive car when it was new, and they have an unusual steering wheel. Let's see if we can see it. You see the steering wheel in there? I'll open the door up if I can. There we go. So see the steering wheel? It's shaped like a rectangle. Some of these old Chryslers had that, and it has the push button dash, so you can kind of see, where is it? Right there, and there. That's your push button for your transmission. Right up on the dashboard there. Cool car. And chrome is actually really good. Look at that. There's Not a single rust hole on that bumper. It's been sitting under that tree for a while. It's got moss on it. And there's stuff literally everywhere, in the bushes, in the trees. Like, if you know what you're looking for, I'm sure like some of these rims are half decent too. We'll go over on this side here. You can see there's his old barns and outbuildings, and they're all packed full of stuff. So I'm gonna go inside of this building right here. There was an old motorcycle in here last time, and I'm gonna see if I can make an offer on it today. Okay, so there's the old Oliver tractor. And when you talk about barn finds, I don't think it gets more barn findy than this. Right there. Maybe some of you guys know what this is. I think it looks like it was used for racing at one time, just the way they've got it set up. With the clipped front fender. I believe it was a British bike. Let's see if I can get over here. Maybe you can tell from that tank. It's got a single saddle seat on it. Sorry, the lighting in here is not the greatest. It's like quite literally a barn. But it's kind of neat. To me, it looks like a 50s Brit bike that's been used for maybe racing at some point. So either way, it's neat. So, and it wouldn't be that hard to get it out of there, just kind of down the alley here and out the door. So I made an offer on it last time, but I guess I didn't make a good enough offer. So maybe I'll try and make a better one this time. Close the barn back up. Gotta leave things just as you found them. Otherwise, they'll never let you back on their property again. Let's look down through this gate. Let's see what's down here. Looks like an old wagon. Well, clearly it's an old wagon. I don't know what type it is. It's got Mercury hubcaps inside. Now this here, he told me last time I was out here, this is a 1920s McLaughlin Buick. It's disassembled, and honestly there's not much left of it, but really, really rare car. They were a really high-end vehicle, Canadian made too, so not something you see too often. Oh yeah, it's a Pontiac station wagon. That'd be cool. No, I don't think he's got any hearses or ambulances around. Mind you, I like other stuff other than hearses and ambulances. I don't think I've been down this path before. Is that a Datsun or a Toyota? Dodge Colt. That's a funny little car. I can honestly say I haven't seen too many little Dodges like that. That must be after the fuel crisis when they were trying to compete with the Japanese. Let's see what's behind this door. If I can get to it. I have to go under a tree here. Ugh, spider webs. Okay. It's the front end of this little car here too. Okay, let's see if the door is open. Ooh. I've never ever looked in this building before. Let's see if I was missing anything. Oh man. There's so much stuff in here I can't even get through the door. I see a lot of tires. You know, all it takes is one really good oil can to make it worthwhile to climb all the way to the back. And I can see there's old oil cans and stuff back there, but I don't see anything that's worth risking my life or this man's stuff over, so. I know, where's my sense of adventure? I should just be in there piling through all this stuff, but I'm gonna see if there's any good surface stuff here today. Close the door back up. Well, my very first car didn't look much different than this. I had a 49 DeSoto with the split window, and it was a miserable car to drive. It had something called a fluid drive transmission that kind of meant you shifted, but kind of meant you didn't. This isn't a DeSoto, clearly. These make good hot rods, though. I can see why guys would switch out the drivetrain to newer ones, because some of the old stuff, well, at least my experience, and you guys will probably correct me, but my experience was it wasn't a whole lot of fun to drive. But the grass has gotten long since I was here last. Some old bicycles. I am looking for some wooden wheels for an old 1800s tandem bike I picked up. Now, if anybody watching has some and wants to mail them out to me, that'd be awesome. Okay, so that's a good cab actually. I don't know if you can kind of see what that is, and hopefully I'm not going to step on any hornet's nests or anything in here. It's pretty deep. This is what they call a 5-window Chev, and it's looks like it's sitting on a frame. Body probably got some rust, obviously. But what makes these unique and kind of desirable is it's got this little these side windows, these quarter rear windows on the back. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I guess if you count the windshield, but they call them a 5-window because the window's excluding the windshield. You have to wonder what's inside the buildings. He's put a bunch of cement in front of the door so you can't open this one. I'll ask. Now, he did say he had old Harleys and stuff at one time. I think he sold a lot of that stuff off though. But okay, so here's another 2-door hardtop. And it's a Chrysler Imperial from the looks of things. Oh no, I'm completely wrong. It's a Studebaker. It's a Studebaker. Okay, yeah, so that's an old Studebaker. Don't know exactly what model. Maybe Commander? 2-door hardtop. Interior is intact. And what's surprising, so here's the thing about Canada. The interiors don't get really sun-baked or worn out. Like, I mean, obviously this has been sitting outside a long time. Yeah, it's a Studebaker Commander. The interiors are always in pretty good shape up here, but the bodies get rough because of the weather, because of the winters. That's probably a pretty unusual car. There's a little 4-door Plymouth right next to it. And I can see an old Econoline van on the other side of the fence there. Looks like he's got a couple boogie vans. Maybe that's the boogie van department on that side. And underneath all that is an old, probably late 60s Mustang, I'm gonna say. Have a feeling it's been sitting there a while. You can see at some point he took some care and attention to kind of trying to block off the glass in the interior from getting completely damaged. So who knows, maybe the interior is not too bad on it. Some oldies there. Those, I believe, are Kaisers. Yeah, they are. They have an unusual sort of design on the rear window where it kind of comes down, almost looks like aviation goggles. He's got 2 of them sitting there. And another wagon, looks like Ford, yeah. Surprisingly, the glass is all there and it's not broken. Like if you had a wagon in half decent shape and you had like this window broken out, this thing would be ideal. Plus it's got that awesome roof rack on. I didn't even notice that. That would have been a pretty fun car. Good holiday car. More old vans and trucks. It's an old, I think this one's a Pontiac. It's got the stars on the back. The old National Park logo. This hasn't been on a trip through the mountains around here in a while. But it's a 2-door post. That's prime hot rod material right there. I don't know why I keep saying hot rod. I mean, 2-door post is just a cool car, but Pontiac's got to be a little bit more unusual, and you see a lot more Chevys around. There's a couple Dodges. There's an old Dodge wagon. Actually, you know what? That the chrome on this car is half decent. I don't know if you can see. This is just, that's just oxidization. That would come back if you needed a bumper. Actually, how's the car? The car looks fairly solid. I'm gonna get through the trees here and have a look-see. Might ask him about this guy. Oh yeah, and there's a problem. The wheels are so sunk into the ground that the back end's been sitting in the dirt, and it looks like it's rusted pretty bad around the back. Custom Suburban. Wow, that's an early Suburban. How's the interior? See, I mean, mainly just dirty. And there's a tree growing up through the floor. That can get in the way when you're driving down the road to have a tree growing up through your feet. It's an old bug. And if you're wondering, for those people watching, the Beetle is not an oval window. Probably like a 1960s bug. And it's a little rough. It would be nice just to find some really good porcelain signs hanging out in these scrap piles. An old T-Bird. This was actually what I had in high school. I had a 64 T-Bird in high school. And I worked every single night after school getting that car ready. And on grad night it broke down. We were all like having fun driving down the road, all my friends in the back. And it broke down. The brake booster stopped working, so the brakes kept locking up. It was really weird, but ended up getting it running and driving. Mine was in a little bit better shape, clearly. Old Meteor. Looks like a Westphalia, the 1980s Westie. And rust doesn't look too bad on this one. Probably not for much longer, but the body on that one's actually not too bad. The folks over in Europe, you guys like your Volkswagens and VW vans and stuff. Come across those every once in a while out here. I mean, there's one like a few feet over that way. A little 50s Cadillac, the iconic Cadillac bumper on the front end. And I love the fins on these cars. Such a great look. I mean, everybody always thinks of, you know, Cadillacs like this being associated with Elvis. It was a pretty showy car. You had a Cadillac back in the day. You were a styling person. Another old Ford wagon sitting back there in the bush.
I've been monkeying around here now all summer, and you can't tell what I've done.
Well, I can see there's a few different things that moved around.
But there's a lot of stuff yet.
This is an old is it Pontiac limousine.
It's actually a limousine. It's a Bonneville.
Would have been a like an airport shuttle or something, or
I don't know.
maybe funeral home, or
it sits there, but
because it's not that big of a.
no, but the back door is a wee bit longer.
I can see that. Boy, it's a big car. Somebody started to restore this. It looks like it's all in primer.
It's a 63 Pontiac, so you can pretty well get everything for it from a regular 63 Pontiac. I got another hood I kept. I crushed the car, but I took the hood off it.
But it looks like somebody started working on this car and then gave up.
Yeah, he did, but he got himself into trouble, so.
Oh, well, that happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Rare car, though.
It is.
Little GM truck. Probably about a 72, well, I don't know, 67 to 72, somewhere in there. I'm not an expert on those. Maybe somebody watching knows the exact year of this guy. You can tell from the bumpers and things like that, but this one's a GMC. Old International tow truck. It's had the boom removed on it. There's all these mystery cars out here too that are underneath the tarps. Probably because they're a little bit more, either in better shape. I don't want to pull back on the ropes, but they're probably either in better shape or maybe a little bit more collectible. And here's a Nova. This one probably has an interesting past. At some point somebody put hood pins on it. I mean, it could just be that their latch broke on the front and they couldn't afford to fix it, so they put hood pins on, but maybe they use this thing for racing. And I don't know, did it say Nova SS at one time, the Chevy logo, or just Nova with the Chevy logo? Probably just Nova. Bucket seats, console car. Let's see, what does it say? S22. Oh, that's funny. because it's not a Nova, it's a Mercury that has a Nova front end on it. A Mercury S22. Oh, it's a Comet. Nova hood, Comet car. I should have noticed that. It's funny, he even found a hood that was almost the exact same color as the car to put on there. That threw me right off. Row after row after row of old cars. And the city has really built up around this property in recent years. This used to be way out in the country, but now it's pretty much right in the middle of town. Here's a funny custom job. Start off life as a big GM truck. Looks like they dropped it on a newer chassis and then welded a second cab on the back of it. Not the fanciest looking chop job, but you know, a person might be able to finish the job these guys started. And looks like some money was probably spent on this thing. That looks like a brand new aluminum radiator in there. But a lot of times you see projects like that get started and they don't get finished. Some old olds. Kind of reminded me of Matt's hot rod olds he's got out there. It's an Olds 88. Rocket 88. Great song if you haven't heard it. So I'm showing kind of the left, but I'll show you there's stuff really everywhere. Some of these aren't that old. But there's stuff just everywhere. Maybe I'll walk down this way a little bit. See what's down here. Old trailers. An old Cadillac. Sunroof. Looks like it's fully loaded. I think somebody would have spent like as much as probably a house was back in the 80s on that thing. Now look at it. Just sitting there rotten. Old Volvos. Another Dodge. You know, surprisingly, and I know I've said this a couple times, but a lot of the bumpers and the chrome on these cars is really good. Considering the cars have rust. Bumpers and that aren't that bad. But here's an idea to give you a scope. Here's another walkway here. It's kind of an interesting old truck. Numbers on the side. Maybe it was a fire department support vehicle or something like that. Whatever was inside has been pulled out. Looked like it had big lines in it. Maybe it had a big engine in the back of it, like a diesel engine. Cute little British cars. And this looks like a Studebaker Golden Hawk. Really beautiful car. Came equipped with foliage through the engine. That's a rare option. See if I can get a... These old Studebaker Hawks are really identifiable. This is the body shape. Oh, the emblems are off of it. Too bad this one's so rough. That would have been a killer car all fixed up. I can't remember. Is this the same one that they had in Harry Potter? One of these little cars? Looks familiar to me. So I've been walking now for probably, I'm going to say about 20 minutes or so. And the cars just keep going and going and going. And there's lots of cool stuff here. He had a lot of two-door hardtops and convertibles last time I was here. A lot of that stuff looks like it's been thinned out. But there's still lots of great cars. I mean, have a look. Old Buicks and Pontiacs, lots of four-door stuff. And I don't mind the four doors myself. In fact, I have a project in mind. I've been gathering parts for old police car projects. So if I can find, I don't think any of these are going to be what I'm looking for, but I'm trying to find a nice, cool 50s, maybe early 60s four-door car that I can convert into a police car. There's just so much to see around here. And there's piles of stuff too. You know, who knows what's inside of those piles that are around here. So I'm going to walk back down the other path and have a look around and see what else there is. It looks like an old piece of construction equipment through the trees here. Let's see if I can get to it. Some of this is like breaking through the jungle. Like I feel like I need one of those big knives to cut through all this stuff. That is a really early road grader. I mean, like really early. So early it's made out of wood and steel. It's Adam's motor grader. I think I've seen one of these at a museum before. Not in its somewhat natural habitat here. That's pretty neat. An old International truck. Looks not half bad. Another car that he's covered up. That one looks like it was a Cadillac. You can kind of see the emblem poking out there. The problem with parking cars in trees like this is that trees can fall over. And it looks like that's what happened to the Cadillac. There's a tree that went through the back window. Even though he tarped it up, it looks like it still had some damage. Oh my goodness. Look at all these cars. It's like a parking lot of old cars out here. Looks like a Torino. Probably was a pretty hot car. It's, yeah, Ford Torino 500. Kind of a little, I think a little earlier than the Starsky and Hutch Torino, but still kind of a cool car. Jeez, there's just stuff everywhere. There's something off in the distance there. It looks like an old Volvo. Or Ford or something, but I think it's a Volvo up there. I'm gonna walk over and have a look. Nova Rally. Yeah, this is a Volvo. Probably like a 544. I'm like right next to train tracks here. That's what all the noise is. There's a train going by through the bush over there. Dodge Polara. Some of these have pretty good motors in them, like 383s or things like that you could retrofit into another car. '49 Ford, two-door hardtop, shoebox Ford they call them. It's got missing one fender, missing the hood. Another 49 or 50 Ford. Maybe that's a parts car for the two-door, or could be. This one quite a bit more complete. Grill, front end, hood, not overly rusty. Four-door. Wonder if it's got the drivetrain in it. Let's see if I can open the hood up on this. Okay, I think I got the hood on this old Ford is coming a little bit. The hinges, I don't think it's been lifted in a long time. I don't want to wreck anything. Does it have the engine? Well, it has a radiator. Let's see if I can see from the other side. Oh yeah. I don't know if you can see in there. To kind of peek through the crack here, but yeah, it's all there. This would make a great donor for my police car project I want to work on. See how bad the rocker rust is. It's actually not that bad. Looks like somebody might have done a little bit of welding work on this guy. Interior. Look at that. I think that might even be original upholstery on this. Ford Custom. This car's actually got potential. Let's see what the back end's like, make sure it's not all caved in. Nope. Well, it looks like it didn't drive here. This has got an in tow that was sprayed on the back at one time. But it's all there. This one's not that bad, actually. If the price is right. But now it's time to make our way into his main shop and see what's inside.
So I let him use it until he couldn't drive no more.
4-door?
No, it's a
Two-door.
hardtop.
2-door hardtop.
Yeah, the only drawback on it, it's a 6-cylinder, 3-speed standard.
It's black, eh?
Yeah.
What would you want for this guy?
Well, see, it's a 62 and the body isn't that bad. I'm trying to get about 6-7 thou, but maybe I'm too high.
Does it run and everything?
Oh, it runs fine.
It needs a windshield.
It's got 63 or 66,000 miles on it only.
Oh, the body looks pretty good.
And the body is, well, it's the top of the line. It's a Galaxy 500.
Yeah.
Upholstery's good.
Well, it was on the road at least in 1980. It's got a 1980 sticker on there.
And there's a Pontiac Ferrari, something you need one.
Yeah. Well, guys.
$500, that one can go.
And then you got your old square T-Bird back here.
Yeah, I got kind of a deal cooking. I don't know if it's going to work or not. There's 2 different guys.
Someone's interested in it?
It's a 59. It's not a bad car. It's been sitting there for 40 years.
40 years. Oh, that's 40 years worth of dust on it then.
Yeah, it's got a lot of dirt.
What's the one next to it here?
That's an LTD of 71. Dad bought it brand new in March and he crashed it in October.
Oh yeah, you really pushed that front end in.
Oh, he hit it hard.
Was he okay from the accident or?
Yeah, Mom was in the hospital for a while.
Boy, yeah, because he hit passenger side more.
Yeah.
That old steering wheels and
I bought it
stuff.
from the insurance company, gonna fix it. I stuck it back there in October 71. It's been all its life sitting right there. It's got 6,000 miles on it.
That's low. 6,000 miles.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull the powertrain out and I'm gonna throw the body away.
You got a little. Those little ride-on tractors actually do okay at auction too.
Yeah.
But it's getting late in the morning and I've got to go open up the shop still. So it's time for me to head out and get back to the store. Lots of fun visiting Reg and all his cool cars. Like I said, if you see anything you like, let me know. So I'm calling it a day out here at the scrapyard. Lots of cool stuff. I am interested in a couple cars he has. The 51 Ford 4-door, that's pretty solid. He said around $1,500, $2,000 for that. I'll have to think about what the restoration cost is going to be and whether it's going to be worthwhile. I'd like to find something running. The 62 Ford, the black 2-door there, is actually in really good shape. Probably hasn't moved in a decade or so, and he's looking for, you know, 5,000-6,000. That's probably a little high. But maybe not. Maybe you guys are watching, you're like, that's a killer deal, go back for it. But it's a 6-cylinder and it's a 3-speed manual column shift, and that's not super fun to drive around. But it would kind of be a cool police car conversion too, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. So he said cash talks. We'll see. Maybe I'll be able to go there and make an offer. But thanks for tuning in again, guys. Another adventure, and hope you like these videos. If you like them, subscribe. I'm always out doing cool stuff. You can also follow us on Instagram, Curiosity Inc. YEG, on Facebook, and here on the YouTube. So stay tuned for more, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks again, and bye for now.